Welcome to RAAONLINE. My name is Dr. Sunil Payanur Venkateshwaran, and I'm going to talk to you about the tumors of the central nervous system. This is the lesson outcome for this topic: to classify and describe the etiology, the genetics, the pathogenesis, the pathology, and the presentation sequelae and complication of CNS tumors. Before we move on to the details of the CNS tumors, just a very brief overview on tumors of the central nervous system, or other what is known as brain tumors. These brain tumors, they comprise about 10% of all the tumors in the adult population, and they generally tend to occur in people in the 5th decade of life. The CNS tumors are very common childhood neoplasms and account about 20% of all the tumors in childhood. In general, the location of the tumors is a good way to identify whether these tumors are adult tumors or childhood tumors. Tumors in the adults are located above the tentorium, or they are rather called as supratentorial tumors. In children, tumors are located below the tentorium, or rather we can say these are infratentorial tumors. Brain tumors, they behave very differently from other tumors in the body, and all brain tumors or CNS tumors are treated very aggressively. Hence, we can say that there is no distinction between benign and malignant tumors. Unlike many other tumors in the body, tumors of the CNS do not have any detectable pre-malignant stage or in situ stage. Right, moving on, another very important point to keep in mind is that tumors in the CNS never metastasize outside the central nervous system. These tumors may produce what is known as drop metastasis within the spinal cord, but they don't go outside the limits of the central nervous system. Another very peculiar feature of the tumors of the CNS is in current practice, we follow what is called as the WHO grading system, where tumors are graded from grade 1 to grade 4. Now, a number of features are used to classify tumors in these grades. And number one is nuclear pleomorphism. If you all remember, nuclear pleomorphism is a variation in the shape and size of the nuclei. Next is the presence of mitosis. Third is the presence of vascular proliferation, and fourthly is the presence of necrosis. Next, another very important point to remember is that even low-grade lesions of the central nervous system may infiltrate into large areas of the brain, leading to very serious clinical deficits, which is one reason why many of even the low-grade benign tumors of the brain are treated in a very aggressive manner. The location of the tumors is a very important, plays a very important role and has a very big influence on the outcome, right? This is independent of the histological classification of the tumor. And okay, next is the location. The location determines the nature than the tumor itself. Okay, so where the tumor is located, this plays a very, very important role. Okay, so we shall come to the next part, which is the classification of CNS tumors. Now, the CNS has a number of cells, and there are tumors which arise from these various cell populations. The most abundant cells are the neuroglial cells, and you can see there are a number of tumors that arise from these cells. Classical examples include astrocytoma, which arises from the astrocytes. Then you have the oligodendrogliomas, which arise from the oligodendrocytes. The ependymomas, which arises from the ependymal cells. And then within the choroid plexus, which line the ventricles, you have the choroid plexus papilloma and the choroid plexus carcinoma. The second type is tumors arising from neurons in the central nervous system. Examples include gangliogliomas, something called as dysembryoplastic neuroepithelial tumor. In short, it's also called as DNET. And then tumor called as central neurocytoma.